attitude?
Well, my own attitude is just pure harassment and to terror Asia.
How do you feel about the bomb that night or the day before?
Well, like, I don't agree with any bombing or shooting, but I don't think I should have come on to that sort of harassment. Like.
11 days later, this disused house was bombed by the IRA as an army foot patrol passed. One soldier was injured. For some days after it, a number of soldiers staked out on Patrick's family's land, using it as a good vantage point. They left behind what looked ominously like a mock grave. After a complaint, soldiers came and destroyed it, but in the meantime, Patrick had taken photos. It clearly showed a made-up cross and mounded stones.
Could it have been something else?
Oh, no. It was definitely put there by the soldiers, like, just to frighten us.
Father Conlon complained to the commanding officer of the Marines and eventually got an admission.
He said that it was nonsense to think that it was a grave, and when I commented on the cross, he then admitted that perhaps some of his men had a sick sense of humour.
Some days ago, the army responded to the complaints from Seamus Mallon and Father Conlon. In one, 2 army officers were demoted, and the case is examined by Today Tonight.
In 2 of the other cases, I am very dissatisfied indeed. That is the where they say they have absolutely no record of an army patrol being in that area at that time. I find that just quite unbelievable. And in the Cunningham case, I simply do not accept that he wasn't treated in the way that he stated. He's a very honourable man. I have no reason whatsoever to have any doubts about what he said. And again, the way in which this one was clouded by the accusations that he was an epileptic and that he had taken a fit, I think points to something which is less than honest.
This highlights a central question mark which hangs over complaints to the army. Are they taken seriously? The army declined an interview. Formal complaints are those received from solicitors, priests, public representatives. On paper, they're swiftly investigated with a written response detailing punishment meted out.
I process many hundreds, if not thousands, of this type of complaint in the type of formal ways that are open to me. And I have never, except in possibly 2 occasions, been told exactly what action has been taken against the soldier involved or the soldiers involved if they have been guilty.
Lord Colville has completed a number of reports for the Northern Ireland office on such complaints.
I think they do. At any rate, I can only go on what they say. They tell me that they do.
Well, Seamus Mallon, the MP for the Armagh area, says he has hundreds, if not thousands, of formal complaints that he's never had response to.
I'm sure he knows.
So do you believe him?
Yes, if that's what he says.
Many local people, particularly nationalist or Catholic people, believe that the real problem is that the army isn't really interested in investigating the complaints.
They certainly are. I've talked about this at very great length to the people in the army, and particularly the higher ranks. The higher ranks are extremely interested in this, and the commanding officers of the battalions that are there are also very interested. I'm not quite sure what it is that goes wrong, but there is no doubt that sometimes it does.
Local unionist councillor Danny Kennedy disputes Father Conlon's claims about army harassment.
The justice that some Republicans appear to have, and many nationalists unfortunately appear to have, that every allegation that is made against the army is true. Now, obviously that's not the case, and Father Conlon would, I'm sure, accept that, but that is not accepted by the vast majority of Republicans and nationalists who want to believe that every case of alleged harassment is in fact a real case.
Some of the complaints, of course, are not genuine. One's got to remember that. Some of them are malicious. And it's not always very easy to find out in the first place whether that is the case. There's also another collection where it's probably a mixture of both sides being awkward with each other. And those sort of things take a great deal of investigation, and sometimes I'm afraid they are inconclusive.
Cullyhanna started the new year with a grim reminder of how far relations with the army had descended. 5 days after Christmas, Fergal CARAHER, a member of Sinn Féin, was shot dead with his brother MICEAL seriously injured by Marine commandos in hotly disputed circumstances. The official RUC version said Fergal and MICEAL CARAHER were shot in a white rover after crashing through an army checkpoint. It said a soldier was carried on the bonnet for a couple of 100 yards. Security forces declined to discuss it, but eyewitnesses tell a totally different story. As the army sees it, Cullyhanna is part of hostile South Armagh. But no claims about arms or explosives were made after the CARAHER shooting. These are the locations. At the bottom of the road from Dundalk stands the IRA Memorial. Further up the road, the parish church. Then the car park of the Light and Easy pub. It was 30th of December last, around 3 o'clock, broad daylight. The witness's story starts at the memorial. A car was driven by Liam Murphy, carrying Michael CARAHER, stops to help a stranger with car trouble. Michael is a mechanic and got it going. Shortly afterwards, Fergal CARAHER arrives in his white rover and joins the others. While the three stand talking, 4 soldiers approach. We talk to the family. Fergal's brother recalls the first incident.
4 soldiers appeared, walked up to Sullivan Road doors. They asked their names and addresses and just the usual, took the numbers of the cars and that. But they never searched the cars or anything like that.
They didn't search the cars?
No, they did not, no. Just the numbers of them, I think. Never asked to open doors or a boot, a bonnet or anything like that.
Was there any aggro there?
No, there was not, no.
According to witnesses, Fergal drives off from the memorial, past an army checkpoint at the church, and about 100 yards further on, he turns into the Light and Easy pub car park. Here he parks to wait for his brother Michael and Liam Murphy for a journey on to Dundalk. At the checkpoint by the church, the army is mostly stopping cars going into Cullyhanna. On that side of the road, cars are backed up. Among them, Peter Quinn and Kevin Palmer. They'd waited for up to 10 minutes.
We were in the queue for about 10 minutes, and I saw the white rover car belonging to Fergal coming in this direction, going that way. It passed along through, no attempt was made to stop it, and it turned into the car park and turned right around the car park, and it parked over there at the corner of the car park. At that stage, Fergal got out of the car.
And that, Liam Murphy and MICEAL come in their car, and MICEAL got out and went over to join Fergal. Well, the 2 soldiers now had already joined Fergal before they come up and was talking to Fergal, so MICEAL went over to them.
In the car park, Fergal CARAHER is talking to 2 soldiers. Michael CARAHER and Liam Murphy in a red car pull in. Michael gets out and walks over to Fergal. Liam Murphy would drive on in his red car with a view to leaving it at the nearby shop so that all 3 could go on to Dundalk in Fergal's car.
And what way did it look between Fergal and the soldier?
Oh, just standing talking to him, just the way me and you stand talking now.
Was there any sense of agitation or panic?
Oh, no. Just like the 2 of us here standing here now, just talking to him.
I went over, Fergal was talking to the soldier, and he was just finished, seemed to be just finished talking at this stage. So I told Fergal we were taking his car, and Fergal turned around to the soldier and says, "Are we right?" So the man nodded his head, the soldier nodded his head and turned and walked away, and stood over on the road beside another soldier. So I got in the car and went to Dave's car, and Fergal hopped in beside me, and just started the car up and went to take off, and taking the left-hand corner sort of thing up between Dundalk. I was just out on the road a wee bit when the shooting started.
I looked out through the window of the car, and I could see the white rover just on the road and 3 soldiers down in the firing position, 1 on the left-hand side of the road and 2 to his right, and they were firing on the car. There was no soldiers ahead of the car, and there was no soldiers knocked down, and I didn't hear any warning shot.
Just at that same instant, Fergal says, "I'm hit," and he fell down. He landed on my leg, and I knew he was in a bad way because he says, I'm hit, and allow me, that's all he could say, like. I knew he must have been bad when he was saying that, like.
What was he saying?
Michael. I knew he must have been bad when he was in that state, like. At the same time, I felt myself being hit too. I felt this thud in the back. I didn't feel too bad. I knew Fergal was a lot worse than me. So I drove on. I was going to try and get him to the hospital as quick as I could, but after I rode a few hundred yards, I wouldn't move nearly a mile. I was getting weaker and weaker all the time, and I just couldn't go no further. I got nothing to do. I got the car stopped, and I turned around to try and talk to Fergal, but there was no response out of him.
This version of the shooting is completely at odds with the RUC statement. None of these witnesses saw the Carahers crashing through a checkpoint. None saw a soldier being struck or carried on the bonnet of the car. No suggestion of a chase or of panic before the shooting. On the face of it, the soldier shot to kill both Caraher brothers. Why? MICEAL only narrowly missed death. The bullets came close to his heart. And why in broad daylight before witnesses? Was it just a clumsy error?
Well, they just shot them. That was all I can make of it. Should they could have stopped the car at the, you know. Should they could have stopped them from getting into the car if they wanted to. You should have let them into the car and drive off and then shoot them.
One of the soldiers that was up near where the shooting took place, but I don't think he was actually one of the soldiers that was firing on the car, came walking back down the road. The soldier that had been talking to me was leaning now against the ditch, and he said to the soldier as he came back down, he says, did you get a kill or did you kill him? The soldier said, that was coming back down from the shooting, said, yeah, I think so. And the soldier said, nice one, nice one.
Well, did you hear that clearly?
I heard that clearly.
Was there any sign beforehand that the family was marked, especially as Fergal was in Sinn Féin?
I think that would be a very high price to pay for selling papers. I don't think there should be a price on that.
Why do you think he was shot?
Because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Did he ever say to you that he had been marked out in any way?
No.
Or that he had been threatened?
No.
Has your family had a history of difficulty with the army?
Not really, except the usual harassment on the road, sometimes being searched, and the boys were often taken out of the cars and all the possessions taken out and their pockets turned out and that type of thing. But that was basically all.
Has your house been searched?
Not recently. It was searched. Most of the houses in this area are searched periodically. And outside buildings and that are searched. But not recently now.
How recently?
Maybe nearly a year ago.
Margaret, what about your house?
No, it was never searched.
Never?
No.
How long did you and Fergal live in the house?
For 14 months. And in that time, we never had been searched.
MICEAL, you were accused of driving through the checkpoint.
That's right, yeah.
And a soldier being carried on the bonnet of the car.
Yeah.
And that's why Fergal was shot.
That's what they're saying, yes.
Isn't that right?
That's what they're saying, yes.
Have you been charged with unlawfully breaking through a checkpoint?
No.
Has the RUC questioned you about it?
No. The detectives came in to me and I was in intensive care in hospital. They didn't talk to you. I wasn't fit to talk to them at the time.
So you couldn't talk to them?
They never come near me, approached me since.
The family and local MP Seamus Mallon wants something more independent than the RUC investigation.
In this type of circumstances, then it is surely necessary that there's an independent element in the entire investigation. And I'm not talking, and I never have talked, about an independent inquiry. I'm talking about an independent investigation into the incident. And it is within the powers of the Secretary of State to appoint people from outside to carry out that investigation. He hasn't done so, and I think by not doing so, he he has in many ways left himself open to the accusation that once again we're in the position in the north of Ireland where a person has been killed, and the inquiry is not going to command either the credibility or the respect